Hey everyone, welcome to day 19 of the Lenten Devotionals. Today's devotion is taken from the Old Testament passage, which is Exodus 16:14-31. So this passage is talking about how God provides manna and quail to the Israelites as they're on their way to the Promised Land. And a little background, they've just crossed the Red Sea and they've just seen this amazing miracle from God. So you would think after seeing this that they would stay faithful to God and be obedient in what he has to say. But that wasn't the case. A month into their journey, they ended up being in the desert of sin. And here they're having struggle finding food and they're becoming hungry. But God still provides for them. But he has specific instructions. He says that every person were to take an omer and fill it with food, which was the manna and the quail. But people didn't believe that this would be enough for a full day. So they started to take more than what they needed. And in turn, the next day, the extra food started to rot. Then the day before the Sabbath, they were told to take 2 omers and fill it with food, one for that day and one for the Sabbath. But people didn't believe that there would be no food for the Sabbath, so they didn't take the food. And the next day when they came, there was no food for them. So after being, told specific instructions on what to do, they still chose not to follow it. And they still chose to use their own thinking and their own way of going about things. And in turn, they became hungry. And I think a lot of us can relate to this as well in our lives, where we're going through a hardship, we're going through a stress in our lives. And instead of choosing what, God wants us to do, we are deciding that we are going to choose our own way of thinking, and we become prideful in that as well. But this story really shows us that when we choose to turn to God and we choose to be faithful to him, that God can provide in the most craziest of circumstances. And so in this Lenten season, when there's a lot of things that are telling us what's right and what's wrong, first I pray that we turn to God and we let him know what our hardships are. And second, we be intentional in hearing what he has to say, and then once we've heard it, we abide in that and be obedient to what he has to say. So I pray that you all have a blessed rest of your week, and thanks for watching.